Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're diving into a chilling, unresolved mystery that has haunted a family for over 75 years. Imagine Christmas Eve, a time for warmth and joy, turning into an inexplicable nightmare. That's exactly what happened to the Sodder family in Fayetteville, West Virginia, back in 1945. Get ready, because this isn't just a fire story. It's a tale of missing children, strange clues, and a mother's undying hope. It was December 24th, 1945. George Sodder, a proud Italian immigrant, and his wife Jenny were settling their 9 children into bed, preparing for the magic of Christmas morning. The house was filled with holiday cheer, a beautiful family scene. But in the early hours of Christmas Day, around 1 a.m., the phone rang. Jenny answered, only to find it was a wrong number, a strange, garbled voice on the other end. 30 minutes later, she woke again, this time to the smell of smoke. The Sodder home was on fire. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children managed to escape the rapidly spreading flames. But 5 children, Maurice, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jenny, 8, and little Betty, just 5, were trapped upstairs. George, in a desperate attempt to rescue them, rushed to grab his ladder, which was usually right by the house, but it was gone. Vanished. He then tried to start his 2 work trucks, hoping to position them near the windows so his children could climb down. But inexplicably, neither truck would start. They were completely operational the day before and the day after. Frantic, George and Jenny ran to a neighbor's house to call the fire department, only to find that their phone line was dead. And not just dead, it had been deliberately cut. By the time the fire department finally arrived, hours later, at 8 a.m., the Sodder home was nothing but a smoldering ruin. The official story was tragically simple. The 5 children had died in the fire. Death certificates were issued, and the investigation was quickly closed. But for George and Jenny Sodder, this was just the beginning of a long, agonizing search for the truth, convinced that their children had not perished in those flames. The next day, as Jenny sifted through the ashes of her home, she noticed something profoundly disturbing. There were no remains, no bones, no skulls, no trace of her 5 children. The fire chief insisted the blaze had been hot enough to completely cremate the bodies. But Jenny, a pragmatic woman, wasn't convinced. She conducted her own chilling experiment, burning animal bones in her backyard. Even after hours, the bones remained. A crematorium expert later confirmed her suspicions. Human bones simply do not vanish completely in a house fire, especially one that only lasted a couple of hours. The fire, for the Sodders, was not the end of the mystery. It was the start of an even bigger one. George Sodder began to piece together the bizarre events of that night. The mysterious wrong number phone call, the missing ladder, later found in an embankment 75 feet away, the 2 trucks that mysteriously wouldn't start but worked perfectly fine the next day, and that cut phone line confirmed by a repairman as intentionally severed. Then, even more disturbing details emerged. A bus driver, passing through town late that night, claimed he saw people throwing balls of fire onto the Sodder roof. A neighbor found a strange green object in the yard, a pineapple-style hand grenade. This wasn't faulty wiring. This was an attack. But who would do such a thing? George Sodder was an outspoken man, and as an Italian immigrant he frequently criticized Italy's fascist dictator, Benito Mussolini. These criticisms had made him enemies within the local Italian-American community. Months before the fire, an insurance salesman, upon being refused a policy by George, had threatened him. "Your goddamn house is going to go up in smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed, for the dirty remarks you've been making about Mussolini." This wasn't just a random act, it felt targeted. Convinced their children were still alive, George and Jenny hired a private investigator. The investigator made a shocking discovery. The very insurance salesman who had threatened George was a member of the coroner's jury that ruled the fire an accident. The corruption and cover-up seemed to run deep. The Sodder family refused to let the world forget. In 1952, they erected a large, haunting billboard along Route 16, displaying the pictures of their 5 missing children and offering a $10,000 reward for any information. That billboard would stand there, a constant reminder for the rest of their lives. Sightings of their children poured in from all over the country. A woman in St. Louis claimed she saw the children in a car. A hotel worker in Florida believed she spoke to them, accompanied by 2 men and 2 women of Italian extraction. But every lead, every glimmer of hope, ultimately went cold. Then, 20 years after the fire in 1967, a letter arrived, postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a young man in his mid-20s. He had the same dark, curly hair, the same eyes, the same striking features as their missing son, Louis. On the back of the photo, a cryptic, handwritten message. Louis Sodder, I love Brother Frankie. Elil Boys, A90132. The Sodders were electrified. They believed they had found their son. They immediately hired another private detective, sending him to Kentucky to find the sender. But this detective took their money and vanished, never to be heard from again. George Sodder died a year later in 1968. His heart broken, but his belief in his children's survival unwavering. Jenny died in 1989, having worn black in mourning every single day for the rest of her life, a powerful testament to her enduring sorrow and hope. The remaining Sodder children eventually took down the weathered, decaying billboard in 2013, but they never stopped believing. So what really happened on that Christmas night? Was it a horrific, tragic accident, covered up by an incompetent local investigation, where 5 children were burned so completely that not a single trace remained? Or was it a planned abduction, a kidnapping motivated by Mafia ties or political revenge? Was the fire just a diversion, a perfect crime designed to erase 5 children from existence? To this day, the file on the Sodder children remains open. The mysterious photograph of the man claiming to be Louis has never been debunked, nor has it been conclusively proven. Nothing remains of the Sodder house but its foundation, but the mystery built upon it is a shadow that stretches across decades, a dark trail that has never, ever gone cold. It's a poignant reminder that some stories, no matter how much time passes, refuse to be forgotten. What do you think happened to the Sodder children? Let us know your theories in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into an unsolved mystery as fascinating as we did, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.